I am 72 years old, and every evening I sit on the same wooden porch in Savannah, Georgia, watching the neighbors wave, cars roll by. Life keeps trucking like it always has, but I stay still, holding a chipped mug of coffee that's gone cold. Folks think I'm just another grandma killing time. They don't know I've been waiting half a damn century for one man. 50 years is a long stretch to carry a heartbeat inside your chest. Sometimes I tell my Savannah smelled like salt and cigarettes, and I smelled like cheap perfume and hope. My name was Eleanor May Brooks, and I was young enough to believe love could save you from everything. That's when I met Thomas Reed at a rundown dock near River Street. He wore a denim jacket and a crooked grin that felt like trouble and safety all at once. We talked for hours, sitting on splintered wood, feet dangling above dark water. He said, "Ain't life wild?" like it was his favorite phrase. I laughed too loud, like a fool. We didn't have much, no money, no plan, but damn, we had fire, the kind that burns reckless and bright. When he kissed me that night, the world went quiet. I thought, this is it. This is the guy. I had no clue how hard life was about to hit or how long I'd be holding on to the ghost of that kiss. That summer burned fast and hot like a matchstick flicked against concrete. Thomas and I were inseparable. We shared milkshakes, cheap beer, and dreams bigger than our pockets. He talked about heading west, finding real work, building something solid. I talked about staying, raising kids near the ocean. We fought sometimes, sure, but it was the kind of fighting that ended in laughter and tangled sheets. He'd call me Ellie, dragging it out slow, and I'd smack his arm, telling him to quit it. Folks warned me, said he was restless, said men like him don't settle. I didn't listen. Love makes you dumb like that. One night, under a sky full of stars, he grabbed my hands and said, "If life pulls me away, I'll come back. You hear me?" I nodded, heart pounding. I believed him like it was gospel truth. The day Thomas left, the air felt wrong, heavy. He stood at the bus station with a duffel bag and eyes full of something I couldn't read. He said it was just for a little while, that he needed to get his head straight and make real money. I tried to be brave, tried not to cry like a kid. He kissed my forehead and whispered, 50 years if I have to. I'll find my way back. I laughed through tears, told him not to be dramatic. The bus hissed and groaned like it was pissed at the world. When it pulled away, something inside me cracked. I waited on that bench long after the station emptied. People came and went. Life didn't stop, but I did. I went home and folded his spare shirt, tucked it in a drawer, and told myself love like ours doesn't just vanish. It just takes the long road sometimes. Letters that stopped coming. At first, letters came steady. Texas, then Arizona. He wrote about dust, long days, and missing my laugh. I slept with those letters under my pillow like a lovesick teenager. Then they slowed. Weeks turned into months. One day, they stopped cold. I checked the mailbox like a damn ritual, heart jumping every time the lid creaked. Nothing. I told myself he was busy. I told myself not to freak out. Folks started whispering. My mama said, "Girl, you gotta live your life." I nodded, pretending I heard her. Inside, I was stuck. Nights were the worst. I'd stare at the ceiling, replaying his voice, wondering if he was hurt or worse, forgetting me. Love can feel like faith, and faith hurts when it goes unanswered. Still, I waited because walking away felt like killing something alive inside me. The life I settled for. Eventually, life pushed back. Bills don't care about heartbreak. I married a good man named Harold. He was kind, steady, and safe. Everyone said I was lucky. Maybe I was. We raised 2 kids, worked hard, did the whole American grind. I smiled in family photos, cooked Sunday dinners, played the role right. But some nights, lying next to Harold's soft snore, I felt hollow. I loved him, just not the way I loved Thomas. That kind of love rewires you. Harold knew something was missing, I think. He never asked. We made peace with the quiet. When he passed after 30 years of marriage, I cried honestly. He deserved that. After the funeral, I went home, opened an old drawer, and pulled out Thomas's last letter. The paper was yellow, the ink faded. My heart still knew his name by muscle memory. Time is a sneaky bastard. It slips by while you're busy surviving. Wrinkles showed up, hair went silver. My kids grew and moved out, living lives loud and full. I stayed in the same house, same porch, same town. Savannah changed, got shinier, busier. I stayed slow. Some folks my age talk about regrets. I don't. I talk about waiting. Every year on my birthday, I wondered where Thomas was. Dead, married, broken? I pictured him sometimes, older, rougher, still smiling crooked. Friends told me to let go. I told them love doesn't run on a schedule. Deep down, I was scared. Scared I'd die with his name still stuck in my throat. But hope is stubborn. It digs in like roots under concrete. You don't see it, but it's there, pushing up, refusing to quit. The call from nowhere. The call came on a random Tuesday, loud and rude, cutting through the afternoon quiet. I almost didn't answer. My phone's mostly junk calls and doctor reminders. The voice on the other end was rough, older, but damn if it didn't hit me straight in the chest. "Ellie?" he said. One word and my knees buckled. I sat down hard on the couch, heart racing like I was 22 again. He said my name like he'd been holding it for decades. He apologized, stumbled over words, talked about mistakes and roads that didn't loop back easy. I didn't interrupt. I just breathed. 50 years collapsed into one moment. He said he was sick, that he didn't have much time, that he had to see me. I told him where I lived. My hands shook for hours after that. Waiting suddenly had an end date. The longest week. That week crawled like it was dragging chains. I cleaned the house like a maniac, then laughed at myself. What was I trying to prove? I stood in front of the mirror, touching my face, seeing the years. Would he recognize me? Would I recognize him? I slept like crap, dreams tangled with memory. My daughter noticed something was up. I told her an old friend was coming. She smiled polite, not knowing the storm inside me. I replayed his voice again and again. It still fit, still felt like home. Fear crept in too. What if this ruined the waiting? What if reality couldn't match the dream I'd carried half a lifetime? But love isn't about comfort. It's about truth. And the truth was, I needed to see him, scars and all, before my own story ran out of pages. Seeing him again. When Thomas stepped off the bus, my breath caught. He was thinner, stooped a little, hair white as mine. But his eyes, those were the same damn eyes. Blue, sharp, full of regret and longing. We stood there like idiots, staring. Then he opened his arms and I walked into them without thinking. His hug was careful, fragile, like we might break. We cried right there in public, two old fools with a history too big to hide. His smell smelled like soap and cigarettes, just like before. We didn't rush words, we let silence talk. Time had changed us, sure, but it hadn't erased us. I felt whole in a way I hadn't in decades. People passed by not knowing they were walking through a miracle 50 years in the making. Stories and regrets. We spent hours talking, sitting on my porch as the sun dipped low. He told me about the bad choices, the drifting, the years he wanted to come back but felt unworthy. He married once, divorced hard, lost more than he gained. Life hadn't been kind, neither had he, always running. I told him about Harold, about the kids, about the waiting. I didn't sugarcoat it. Truth deserves respect. He cried when I told him his letters stopped, said he wrote more I never got. We laughed at the cosmic joke of it all. Regret hung heavy, but so did relief. We were here. That counted. He said, I never stopped loving you. I believed him. Some things don't need proof. They live in the air between two people who know. Love without illusions. This love was different. No love without illusions. This love was different. No fireworks, no reckless promises, just quiet understanding. We held hands like it mattered, because it did. He was sick, cancer gnawing at him, no pretty ending in sight. I didn't flinch. Love isn't about happy endings, it's about showing up. We spent days walking slow, sharing meals, watching old movies. Sometimes we just sat, letting time pass without fighting it. He apologized again. I told him to stop. 50 years of waiting didn't make me bitter, it made me strong. We didn't pretend we could fix the past, we honored it. At night, I lay awake, listening to his breathing from the guest room, terrified of the quiet that would come after. But fear didn't win, love did. Even now, it felt worth everything. The town notices. Savannah's a town that notices things. Folks saw us together, whispered, smiled. Some asked questions. I didn't know anyone answers. My kids met him, cautious but kind. They saw the peace in my face. That was enough. Thomas fit into my life like a long-lost puzzle piece. We joked about being ancient lovebirds. He called me Ellie again, slow and soft. I told him he was still full of crap. We laughed a lot. Laughter heals stuff medicine can't touch. Even as his body weakened, his presence filled my house. The waiting had carved space for him. I realized then that love doesn't expire. It ages like good whiskey, sharper and deeper. People chase youth. I found something better. Truth, earned the hard way. When time turns cruel. The decline was fast, too fast. Hospitals smell like endings. I sat by his bed, holding his hand, feeling how fragile life really is. He apologized again, voice barely there. I leaned close and told him waiting for him gave my life meaning, even when it hurt. His eyes filled. He said, I came back, Ellie. I made it. I nodded, tears falling onto white sheets. Love doesn't save you from death, it saves you from dying alone. When he passed, it was quiet. No drama, just a long exhale and stillness. I kissed his forehead and whispered goodbye. Not bitter, not angry, full. Grief hit hard, but it wasn't empty. It was heavy with love, and I could carry that. After the goodbye, the house felt louder after he was gone. Silence has weight. I cried, screamed once, then laughed at a memory that popped up out of nowhere. Grief's messy like that. I didn't regret a damn thing. People brought casseroles, said the usual stuff. I thanked them. Nights were tough. I'd sit on the porch talking to him like he was still there. Maybe he was. Love doesn't vanish just because a heart stops beating. I felt proud. Proud I waited. Proud I didn't let the world tell me I was foolish. 50 years is a long damn time, but some love stories don't run on clocks. They run on souls. What waiting taught me. Waiting taught me patience, yeah, but more than that, it taught me faith in my own heart. I lived a full life. I loved others. I wasn't frozen. I was growing around a promise. That matters. People confuse waiting with wasting. They're wrong. Waiting can be an act of courage. I don't tell young folks to put their lives on hold. I tell them to listen to themselves. The heart knows what it's doing, even when the road gets dark. Thomas didn't complete me. He returned a piece I'd guarded for decades. There's power in that. And peace. Still sitting at dusk. I still sit on the porch at dusk. Same chair, same creak. I don't wait anymore. I remember. The sky still turns orange. The world still moves. I sip my coffee and smile. Sometimes I talk out loud. Neighbors probably think I've lost it. That's fine. I've lost worse things and survived. Love came back to me at the end of the road just like it promised. Not forever, but long enough. That's more than most get. I'm not sad. I'm grateful as hell. 50 years was worth it. If this is the last chapter of my story, I'm okay with that. 50 years I waited for my true love, and he came back. Not young, not perfect, real, bruised, beautiful. Life didn't play fair, but it played honest, and honest love is rare. When my time comes, I'll go knowing my heart told the truth, and I listened. Some folks chase love their whole lives. I waited, and it was worth every damn second.